Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hey, Wilderness Podcast. That's Johnny T. This was back in middle school, between 2006 and 2008. Man, back then, RuneScape was the Wild West. I get kitted out. I had a rune skimmy. We go to the wilderness. I couldn't click the pizza fast enough, and that my so-called friends it took our stuff, you know. And then at that point, I realized that RuneScape's more than just a game. It's about trust. It's about learning about life.
Welcome to episode 225 of the Wilderness Podcast. You know, Heartless, I was thinking about this the other day. I always say welcome to the podcast. I don't know, that I was thinking about it. Sounds kind of weird to say that. I feel like I should start saying something like, you're listening to episode 225 of the Wilderness Podcast. It sounds a little bit better. It sounds a little bit more radio. Yeah,
that does sound a lot. You are a radio guy. So the RuneScape way to do it would be, hi, and welcome to my podcast.
Awesome stuff. Heartless, how's everything going?
Oh, it's usual. Nothing special has been happening. Just, that fall grind. Everything this time of year feels like a bit of a grind. October and November kind of just mash up together for me.
It's the pre-Christmas prepping.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's a bit of a rush.
Mind you, I do have my Christmas shopping completely done.
Oh my God, that's so smart. That's so smart.
Get it done early. Whenever my girlfriend says something about my parents, I have a little note on my phone and I just instantly write it down because I hate Christmas shopping. I suck at it. So whenever I hear, that's nice, or I wouldn't mind one of these, instantly write it down. And then around September, I start to go through my list and I just start buying things that they said they wanted. It makes for great gifts because I always know they'll like them.
That's awesome. There's always someone in your family, I have it in my family where it's one person just has really cool gifts they give. And it's not they don't spend a lot of money on it. It's just, I don't know, they find shit that you're I didn't even know this existed. This is really cool.
I got a next level one for my girlfriend this year. I'm very proud of it.
Ooh, do we have to wait till Christmas to find out?
Gift giving. I'm proud of this one. So it's like this, like a book nook. You have to build it yourself. So she has a huge book collection, covers the house. It's too many books, in my opinion. It's probably 1,000 books, but she has a bunch of shelves. And she often puts decorations on one shelf and then books on the next. She organizes them by color. Currently we have one shelf that's just only books with black spines and it's full of Halloween decorations.
Oh, that's sweet.
So she goes hard on decorating the house, and I just have my one corner with my desk in it where I play RuneScape. But anyways, I got her this book nook thing. So it's basically a DIY. It's about the size of maybe a thicker dictionary, and it's a miniature world, and it slides in the bookshelf. So as you're going along, everything's miniature in there. So the inside of this one looks like an inside of an old bookstore. There's little books everywhere.
Oh, there's miniature books.
Yeah, so it's that you build it yourself and it has little LEDs. It looks cool. It has multiple levels. There's someone milling around in the back. There's a little dog in it. Apparently it takes about 10 hours to put together, so you need to be okay with tiny work, but she likes crafting, so I thought this would go well with her collection. She'll never expect me to buy something like that.
Wow, that's good. She's not going to listen to this podcast, is she?
God, I hope not. Could you imagine? Just completely ruin the surprise. Man, I was proud of this one too. So yeah, anyways, that's what I've gone for. So if you're interested really cool. in getting one for your girlfriend, hit me up and I'll show you where I got it from.
Oh, snap. I might have to do it. My partner buys a bunch of books, but she has a whole section of books that she has no plans of reading. They just look nice and they sit on our coffee table and they're just for display purposes only. And I don't understand it, but
oh no.
Okay. Anyways, we got some RuneScape stuff to talk about later on in this episode. Fresh Start Worlds kicked off. Woo! Ooh, that's fun. Combat Achievement Diaries, Combat Achievement Tasks are looking to get an expansion, hopefully to be a little bit more useful. And Halloween 2022 event dropped actually today as of recording this. I know we've talked about events before not being great. This is one this is a nice breath of fresh air. It's pretty fun. So we got some of that fun stuff to talk about. But all right, so yeah, prepping for Christmas. All your Christmas shopping is done. That's very exciting. I have we have the first kid on both sides of the family, so we have like the easiest gift. It's just like a picture for everyone. We'll just get a picture. It's cheap. Here's a picture of the baby. Boom, boom, boom. It's easy. Might have to buy a picture frame, but
That's great.
yeah, that's our shopping this year. Picture frames. And the best thing is it's still gonna be like for like the grandparents, it's gonna be like the best gift they get. It's so easy. You can't top it really. Yeah, so how else has your week been? Whether IRL or OSRS?
Like RuneScape wise, yeah, IRL is just kind of like business as usual. And yeah, RS wise, I'm in a bingo right now.
Bingo.
So I'm knee deep in the XP waste. Our rivals.
Ooh, the rival podcast.
Friendly rivals. They're a friendly podcast. We talk to them. We actually have like a special Discord with just all of the people who run OSRS podcasts.
Super active.
Super dead. But we are there. We have thought about planning some cross-curricular stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've been on a few episodes. I think I was on one of theirs, and I think I'm sure you'll be on one in the near future because I think you were teasing one before. I don't hope I'm not spoiling anything.
No, I am good. It's in the works that I'm going to go and talk about like Iron Man or something on their podcast. So
yeah, very cool. So yeah, they're hosting a bingo, and you're taking part.
And yeah, I think they do 2 a year, and they're big. This one has 229 people in it.
Wow.
Yeah, I think ours have gotten in like the 130, 140 range. I don't think they've gotten much bigger than that. So they've definitely taken on a lot. And they also are doing, I think their fall bingo, they test a lot of things, which I found very interesting. So our bingos tend to be like pretty standard, run of the mill bingos. Like we've expanded to like a larger board. We've experimented with team sizes. We do like, we don't show any points. We keep things secret so people grind. So we kind of have a formula. People like it. I tend to find we have good feedback. So yeah, we generally stick with it, and it's been working well. But it's nice to see like some innovation on the bingo front. So theirs is cool. There's like a King of the Hill. So every day there's like a new challenge.
Oh,
and
cool.
Teams can like work towards getting extra points through these challenges. So I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But yeah, when you have 230 people in a bingo, things are going to be complicated. So I think there's been like learnings on both the positive and negative side, which has also been great for me as like a sort of like an outsider looking in. I get to, see how things are going and take notes on that. And it's just been a super positive for me overall.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, that sounds fun, and it's cool to see different people do things a little bit differently. And bingo is like super popular. So if you're listening, people are like, "What the hell?" Like you might know what bingo is, but bingo and RuneScape, you take your bingo board. What is it? The standard is 5x5.
Yeah, so you have a bunch of tasks that you have to complete, like get all 4 of the Lord of the Rings, get all 4 DK's rings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if your team gets that, you complete that tile, and then there's one, maybe get a dragon 2-hander drop, so you get that, and then you take screenshots as proof, but at the end, whoever completes the most tiles, well, each tile equals points, and then every row, lines and all that equals more points as well. So there's a little bit of strategy involved and a whole lot of RNG, of course, because
yeah, of course, it's always RNG. But I find one thing they've done cool with their bingo, ours tend to be just get the drops. It's pretty straightforward. They've done they've added point systems, so different drops or different tiles are worth different points. And some of them are like combination tiles. They had like an Infinity Stone one where you have to get a bunch of different gems around the game, which I thought was pretty sick. So yeah, there's a bunch of things that I think I've picked up on, and I'll definitely take some of their ideas and bring it to our winter bingo, which will be running this winter, probably just after Christmas.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
But bingo is like a really popular event for communities and clans to do in RuneScape, and people love it, and it works perfectly with RuneScape. But yeah, so people tend to really, really like it, and they tend to be very, very successful. And it's funny, I've tried to take the bingo idea into other video games, and it just does not work. I was playing Destiny 2 for a little bit, and I was part of a Destiny 2 clan, and they're trying to think of ideas for events. And then I was like, hey, what if we do bingo? And I kind of explained it, and then I just realized it just wouldn't work. Sort of a different game, but it just doesn't really quite work that well. But RuneScape is a game that's geared so perfectly for events like this. I couldn't picture many MMOs being able to do successful bingos. There are some, like I think of MapleStory, where there are like drops you can grind for. There are games that you can do it, but it just works so well with RuneScape. It's perfect. But just looking at RuneScape, it's the perfect MMO for holding events where you can like really, the Gielinor Games. It's a YouTube series, basically the Olympics of RuneScape. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch the YouTube video, but it's really good. And gosh, I couldn't even imagine another MMO pulling something like that off.
Yeah, the fact that it's an event that you can run on people's schedules, I think is what's best about it. So we tend to run RuneScape bingos for about a week. That seems to be like standard. Some people run them a little bit longer. But that gives you a time to grind. So like, let's say you work, maybe 5 of those days and you have 2 days off. You can kind of just go at the board and do whatever your team needs to do during your free time. And you're not required to like be there at 6 p.m. on a Saturday. So you can go about your weekly schedule and then just, help with bingo as you go. And I think that's why the event is so successful, just because it's so flexible.
And RuneScape really feeds off RNG, everything being like kind of random when it comes to like getting drops and that sort of stuff. Whereas when I see with like other games, it's kind of like going back to Destiny, they have RNG drops, but players don't really like the RNG factor when it comes to getting items. So what they did was, for a lot of rare items, every week they have this trader who shows up, and you can buy. He'll have random 3 really good weapons, and then you can buy them for kind of cheap. So it'd be like if Iron Man mode had like this trader who would show up once a week, and then he would have 5 different items for sale for really cheap. So you're like, you know what? I can't get my Ellie or my Scythe. I'll go wait for it to show up in the shop one day, and then I'll purchase it.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Makes the game like solved in a way. Yeah, that's this part of RuneScape is like a big attraction to it is the grinding for the goals and the fact they take time, and then therefore, would have meaning to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, you're right. They kind of go perfectly hand in hand. So I have been having a lot of fun in the XP Waste Bingo. So I'm certainly glad I signed up for it.
That's good. Yeah, that's fun. That's very exciting. We'll have to quote unquote get inspired.
Oh, dude! Speaking of, I actually got to do Volcanic Mine recently. And I've been talking about it forever because 40 IQ and Chet in the client got absolutely addicted to Volcanic Mine recently. Like they got
very
like
interesting
2 or 3 million XP each in a week. So and then it came up in this bingo. It was like one of the King of the Hills thing was like as many Volcanic Mine points as you can get. So it's like, all right, I'll try it out. I only did about an hour, but it's way better than I thought it was.
That's interesting.
I can see how it could be toxic on like in free-for-alls. Like if people, if you mess up and blow up the mine and kill everyone, then yeah, you're probably going to get like banned or kicked out of the Discord or something. Like I imagine that's what it's like. But I think with the addition of the Rune Dragon Pickaxe, it's a lot of more people will do it, and it's actually pretty fun, man. I enjoyed it.
So I always thought of it as like, I called it like Wintertod, but for mining, but that's just like, it's like gamifying skills.
It doesn't have the reward. The thing about Volcanic Mines doesn't have the rewards. Like, I think it'd be way more popular. People wouldn't mind mining as much if it had decent rewards. Like, if there are loot crates in Volcanic Mine that could give you a bunch of things, including like, I don't know, maybe a pet or maybe like a different, like a volcanic miner version of the Prospector's outfit. just something like, and then dragon pickaxes, you know what I mean? Like if they had kind of like a Wintertodt style thing, I think that'd be great.
It's crazy to have an activity like that, which is like Wintertodt but mining, and it's actually way more complicated than mining, I would say. Way more complicated than Wintertodt, and you don't have rewards. You can grind points. The way you get rewarded is you grind points, and you can spend it in a shop
and
afterwards.
But it's just GP. Like you, in 2 hours, you can you can green log the collection log.
Yeah, and it's not. I don't think it turns out being good money per hour.
But imagine they had like a bunch of drops in there. I think like people would genuinely be interested in volcanic mine, or maybe they had a second mining outfit that increased whatever. It could be the tiniest thing. Like maybe it increases amethyst mining speed by a little bit, by like 5%. Then everyone would do it. There's a bunch of things they could add. But I think volcanic mine is like a bit of an untapped gem there. So I used to shit talk it, I think. But I think, yeah, they add some rewards and a lot of people would do it. You do need friends to do it, though. That's the thing. Like you need people to do it with. But once again, like I'm saying, if there were rewards, more people would do it and the community would grow. So yeah, it's interesting. I think there's some untapped potential there.
Yeah, well, hopefully we see a bit of an expansion to it in the terms of it being more rewarding. I hope the Dragon Pickaxe comes from this bit of an expansion they do where you can get rewarded for completing it. If they just toss it in the shop for points, that's boring.
I think that's what they're going to do, like toss it in for like 400,000 or 500,000 points.
It's the easy move.
Yeah, but Jagex loves an easy move.
Do they ever?
Yeah, so what about you, Dills? What have you been up to?
Well, I guess going back to last episode, I mentioned I was going to Magic the Gathering last Friday, and I was going to check out Warhammer because they had Warhammer Night on the same night. So I went on Friday, and kind of disapponing. Just kind of a disappointing night overall.
You can hear Dill's wallet just crying out in the background. It's just his excitement.
It's actually like it's the opposite. My wallet was like so happy. It was rejoicing because I went there.
Did you go for Magic or for Warhammer?
I went to go for Magic because I have some Magic decks to play with, but I wanted to kind of scope out the Warhammer scene and watch people play. And my idea was like, oh, hopefully I go there. Hopefully Warhammer's popping off. Hopefully it looks really, really fun. And then I get like tempted into actually doing it. That's what I was like.
You didn't.
Yeah, I went there. There was like one person painting. Nobody was playing it. I talked to the guy who was painting a little bit, but he definitely did not sell me on it. He was like, oh yeah, he actually convinced me not to get into Warhammer, not on purpose.
Okay. What did he say?
So if you don't know, Warhammer are these little figurines that you can kind of put together, these miniatures, and then you paint them, and then you build an army, and then you can play with them. It's like a tabletop RTS. So
I reckon most nerds who listen to an OSRS podcast know what Warhammer 40K is, or have at least heard of it.
I don't know because I barely even knew what it was. And then I hear about it, I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. But
you paint them and stuff though, right? Yeah, they paint.
Yeah, you paint them, and they look really, really cool when they're done.
Get the ruler out and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's all these rules, and anyways, yeah. So it's like a tabletop RTS, like StarCraft, but with physical pieces. So I went there. The guy was painting it. I was asking him about it, and he was like, you know what? Most people who play Warhammer or who are into Warhammer are into it to paint it and assemble and to collect. Not a lot of people play it. At least there's like a lower percentage of people who play it. And then I was asking, he was like, well, the game is like, it's really convoluted. There's a lot of rules. It's also not a whole lot of, in his opinion, he's like, it's not really that much fun.
Damn. It's like the old school Pokemon. It's like the playground Pokemon, dude. You're just there to collect.
Yeah, pretty much. And he was saying the company that makes these Warhammer figurines, they've said themselves they are like a miniature making company first and a games company second. So they focus on making shit that looks cool, that are fun to paint. And then they'll be like, okay, maybe we should put some rules to make this into a game so people can actually do something with them. So he says, yeah, he's like, I just like to paint them. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I couldn't see anyone who would be playing it. So I was like, maybe this is, maybe even if I wanted to get into it, maybe I wouldn't be able to because where I'm living, maybe it's not that popular. But
Right.
yeah, so I was like, okay.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah. And then I sat down to play Magic the Gathering, which is a card, this card game. And it ended up being like not a really fun night at all.
What happened?
So I'm pretty new to Magic the Gathering. So I know like how a lot of cards work and I know all a lot of the mechanics, but it is a game that's been out since, what is it, the 70s or the 90s?
90s, yeah, 93.
The 90s. Okay, so it's been going on for a while. There's a lot of cards. There's like
over 20,000, yeah.
Yeah, there's tons. And I think with Commander, you like almost all the cards are available to use, right? Most of them at least.
Yeah.
I think the problem is as a new player, I don't know what the hell is out there. It's hard to like strategize against my opponents when I don't even know what the hell they have or what they can do.
Yeah.
But when I played it with a group of 3 other guys and they were all very, very nice. They were, teaching me things and, oh, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. Oh, I wouldn't attack this person. But with Commander, it's like a multiplayer game. So it's 4 people and then you kind of take turn, you might gang up on someone if they're on the lead or if it looks like the cards they have are really
you usually
good.
gang up. It ends up being a gang up game at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be very casual and you can sit around and chat and stuff. But every time I played it, so you have this like life point system where when people attack you, you lose these life points over time, and then when you get to 0, you're basically out. But when I was playing with these guys, we'd be like going, they'd play some cards, and then he'd go, and then I place this card, and then everyone would just pick the cards up, and I'm like, wait, what happened? And they're like, oh, they just won. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I have 40 life points. How the hell did they just win? And he's like, well, and then he explains it. So I just created this infinite loop system where I can just keep going forever until you lose. And I was like, oh, okay, let's try it again. And that happened like 3 times that night with the different people. And I was like, you know what? It's not fun. It's not even intense because I'm like, everything's fine. Boom, they play a card, the game's over. And I'm like, how am I even supposed to know? Like, what am I supposed to do? It was tough. I went back to my partner and I was like, how was your night? And I was like, you know what? No one was playing Warhammer. Magic, I feel like a level 3 noob fresh off Tutorial Island, and I'm trying to do Chambers of Xeric with a team of like endgame Iron Men.
Yeah, that's the thing though, Dills. Like, you probably shouldn't be playing against people. Shouldn't be playing against those decks against you. If you say you're new, can you play some lower powered stuff? That's typically because Commander, like you said, 20,000 cards. People have decks that range in from fun joke decks to seriously competitive ones. Even myself, like I've played for like probably close to 10 years. Like I have a deck that's Sphinx Tribal. So unless it's the cards is a Sphinx, I play it in the deck. So it's kind of like a joke deck. And then I have other ones that are, more powerful and stuff. So I think probably it's just a communication issue with those players, right, Dills? But it does suck for you because it's not fun when you just get crushed and you don't know what's happening. It's like when Olm turns around and, lobs a bunch of attacks against you and you're like, what's going on? It's not fun when you're lost and confused. But when you start to
use the DDS, use the DDS.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is a DDS?
yeah, exactly. When you're confused trying to do things, it's not fun, especially if there are people there who know what's going on and are making an attempt to make you feel included.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of people have had that in RuneScape or other games or whatever. So
yeah, it's overwhelming. I was like, wow, I'm like,
dude, yeah, it's crazy
because there's just so much going on. Anyway, so it was interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm not giving up yet. I might go out for another night just to try it out because it's fun. You get to meet people. I'm in a new city, so I don't know anyone in this city. It's a great way to meet people. And the people there were great. It was just
Just if they're nice people, then just tell them, hey, I'm super new. Would you be able to play something lower powered? Most people will respect that. Or if they're like, oh, maybe sometimes people will say, oh, we're playing kind of a higher level game. You might be able to go and find some people at the shop who are playing sort of like the newer stuff. So
totally. I think now knowing that I can be like, hey, can you guys not do infinite loop combos? Or I don't know. Now I know the things that isn't fun to play against.
Yeah, a lot of people end up hating infinite combos when they first start. And it's one of those things you begin to love over time, because then eventually you'll get to a point where you're playing a fair game and it takes 3 hours and you're like, man, someone please have an infinite loop so this game can just end. Yeah, it's challenging, Dills, but I'm sure if you go again, just give it another go.
You know what? My partner said, you put yourself out there. That's what matters. Because it's also going to Friday Night Magic. It's a little uncomfortable, especially when you're new to Magic. I just showed up there and the owner of the store was like, yep, go sit down at one of the tables. Every table's packed. You're like,
that's good. It's a sign of a good store if every table's packed. Yeah,
but you're just like, I don't know anyone here. So you just find a table with 3 people and you're like, can I play with you guys? Anyways, it was a night where things happened, but not how I thought they would be. So anyways, that was my Magic and Warhammer story. So in a way, I think it was positive because I'm not breaking the bank now. Looking into this, what we call it, plastic heroin. So anyways, that's Magic. That's Warhammer. RuneScape. It's been an interesting week. I've been playing a lot on my pure, mainly because I realized my membership's running out. I only have 9 days left if I want to bond it up or something. So I was like, okay, maybe I should do some stuff on it. So I've been doing some PKing, which has been a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun PKing at Rev Caves. It's been great. I definitely recommend anyone who's been kind of interested in PKing. I would recommend this, but then I hate saying it, but making a pure is one of the best decisions I made when it comes to getting into PKing. PKing on my main was really tough and expensive. Pure, much cheaper, and the people you face are much less skilled, which is nice. The problem is you gotta get another account, you gotta get it to 85 Magic, gotta train Desert, gotta get Desert Treasure done, all these quests done. So it is quite the grind, but I've been doing it for a while and he's almost complete. So that's been fun. But yeah, PKing has been really good. One of the goals I had on that account was to complete a Kingdom Divided. I have a few quests left that I have to do. It's a Kingdom Divided for the Arceus spellbook. And then it's some RFD quests so I can get my Mithril gloves. And the Mithril gloves are just really cheap gloves that work pretty well. So that's why that's on there. You can use a combat bracelet, but it's 15K. And if you die as much as I do, that starts getting expensive. So the Mithril gloves become a no-brainer at some point.
Isn't there something about adamant gloves being able to be purchased soon as well?
Yeah, that's what someone in the Discord mentioned. But I was looking it up. It looks like Addy gloves, you need 13 defense. So I have a 1 defense pure, which that doesn't quite.
Well, you're going to be able to buy them if you can go back to the island, because then you can complete the next level of. They're thinking about letting purists go back to finish Monkey Madness 1 without getting the defense experience, so that you can go back to the island and then finish the next sub quest, the Awawogi one. So then you can get the next level of glove, which would be adamant. So they'll be available on pures.
But I think you need 13. That's what the wiki says. You need 13 defense to wear them.
No, I didn't know that. Okay.
So, but that would be cool.
It would be.
So yeah, I got a lot of these quests done this week, and I got a Kingdom Divided completed actually today. And so a Kingdom Divided is this big quest on the continent of Zaya. Let's do a quick little history lesson on Zaya, because it's been a trip. So in 2016, this new continent was released called Zaya. Was it 2016? Well, I guess so. And the whole idea was that because of RuneScape 3, when it comes to the lore and the questing and all that stuff, RuneScape 3 is set in the future of the RuneScape universe. So there's certain things that just can never happen in old school RuneScape if it doesn't make sense in RuneScape 3. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that like are forced to be a certain way because that's how it is in RuneScape 3, and they don't want it to be like two separate universes. So Zaya was this idea of this new continent where it's not in RuneScape 3, so they could do whatever they wanted with it. They could have as much fun with the lore, and they never had to worry about contradicting things in RuneScape 3. And then the whole idea is that like, well, maybe information is lost in RuneScape 3. They lost contact with this continent because of something. So Zaya came out, and it sucked. It was awful. It was just giant square. There's 5 houses. It's kind of like Game of Thrones inspired. Each of the houses were big squared areas, and it was stupid. They had this favor system where you could grind out rep. If you ever grinded rep, it sucked. It sucks now. It sucked way more back then as well. And it just wasn't worth it. There was like barely anything to do on it. But slowly they came out with stuff. They reworked Zaya. They started making it look less like a square and more like an actual continent. And then they added quests. And then Kingdom Divided was this like first big quest, but also a first big step towards continuing this giant storyline of Zaya. So they really hyped it up. They had this really cool trailer, and they just hyped it up as being this really cool quest. And I did the quest on my main. And I remember thinking it was kind of boring. I wasn't really super into it. And then I did it on my pure, and then it like confirmed it for me that like, yeah, this quest is kind of boring. And they try to go hard with like these houses and all this infighting and all this like cool stuff. Like if someone completed a Kingdom Divided and then we were having beer and they were telling me about it, I'd probably be like, yo, that sounds really cool. But then doing the quest itself was super boring. And Harless, I know you've said in the past, you call yourself a bit of a spacebar warrior.
Yeah, big time.
So basically, yeah, you hold down the spacebar button, skip all the dialogue. And I can't even blame you, because like what I realized is like a lot of questing in old school RuneScape, when all the story is being told through chat boxes that you have to push spacebar to go through, it's so boring. Like it's such a weak storytelling part of this game is just the actual people talking.
It's better when it's actions or like you're involved in it.
Yeah, I think that's what people always said. The questing in RuneScape, old school RuneScape and RuneScape 3 is so much better than most MMOs, which I would agree, because most MMOs are just, the story is non-existent. But the questing here is like actual stories. And some of the stories are really good, but all the quests I look back and thought about and like remembered, I never remember the stuff being told.
What would be like some of your favorite quests?
Like, I mean, Dragon Slayer 2 instantly comes to my head. I don't remember any of the parts where people are talking, because I just think when people talk, it's just really weak in this game. But I think the storytelling in this game is so strong when it has to do with like environments, just walking through an area and seeing stuff and like being able to examine stuff. I think that tells a lot about the story. I mean, some of the
recent
the music
one
does.
Comes to mind.
What's that?
The recent Goblin, Land of the Goblins, comes to mind.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. But again, I don't remember anything being talked about, but I remember like walking through different areas, and so they can do a really good job at making an area tell a story without any dialogue or any words actually saying something. Like you can look at, I've just talked about it before, but the wilderness is a perfect example. Like you could go to the wilderness, and if you just looked around, the environment can tell you what happened here during the God Wars. You can see this like burnt down church. Like, oh, okay, this used to be a town here. So I think that's where the RuneScape strength is not when people are talking, because the dialogue is kind of dull. It's not engaging.
Yeah, I think that I totally agree with you. Like the environments are what sell it. Like the Cursed Sands is that what it was called?
Beneath Cursed Sands.
Beneath Cursed Sands. That was one of my favorite ones that they've released in recent years.
Yeah, it's good. I remember going through the dungeons. I remember walking by the pyramid. I remember like the slave labor camp that's outside of the pyramid. I don't remember much of what people say. And I think the problem with the Kingdom Divided, it was like all dialogue, and it's long. And it's talk to this person, go to this person.
Long. You're so right, dude. That quest sucked.
Yeah, I wasn't into it. So anyways, I do think the RuneScape quests are awesome, but there's a reason so many people just hit spacebar, and I think it's because when you have to read stuff, it tends to be like kind of unengaging, especially if it's long-winded. That's all I want to talk about. The questing. There's some good parts. There's some bad parts. Dragon Slayer 2, one of the coolest parts, like one of the coolest moments I've ever experienced in RuneScape in that quest. Song of the Elves. When you start burning down a whole city, that stays with you. You remember that. You don't remember what anyone was talking to you and telling you what to do, but you just remember the actual actions involved. If you play Dragon Slayer 2, highly recommend playing with the music on. I know that's not what most of us do.
Yeah,
but
it's worth
the
it.
music kicks on. Yeah, that kicks on at near the end. It'll give you goosebumps. It's awesome. So, anything else you want to talk about before we jump into the news?
No, let's do it.
All right, we are back. Should we start off strong? Fresh Start Worlds was released. I think we talked about it last week a bit. Fresh Start Worlds is a weird thing they brought out, these new servers where you can start your account all over again. Oh, no, sorry. You have to make a new account to play on these Fresh Start servers. And the idea is that this will give a chance for new players who want to play on fresh servers to then come into the game. Most of us don't buy that. Most of us think it's a reason for streamers, content creators, hardcore RuneScapers to spend money on a new account because it doesn't make sense for new players to play on Fresh Start servers. But, well, anyways, they came out and I guess kind of as expected, almost everyone who was playing it was already playing it.
Yeah, like content creators, right?
I've been looking everywhere for new players because I wanted to talk to them for the podcast. I can't find anyone. Everyone I find is like, oh no, I'm grinding it for the achievement points. I'm grinding it to be number one.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that, right? Like it's not really enticing for new players to start on the world like this. It feels to me like shitty leagues.
Yeah, it's leagues without the part of leagues that makes it fun.
Yeah.
Leagues had all these cool systems in place where you had you get accelerate experience points, you get these perks where your guy can hit twice as fast. It was tons. It really broke the game, and that's what was fun.
But that's what's fun about leagues, right? Is it's different, but this is just bleh.
The same. Yeah,
it sucks. I don't know if you noticed, but they actually partnered up with a whole bunch of content creators.
Oh, interesting.
Which I thought was actually a very clever marketing move. So I don't know how much they paid them, but like Alfie, Solo Mission, I don't know who else are the other ones, but those are like the main two that I've been seeing. So Alfie streams a lot on Twitch and the Solo Mission is a big YouTuber. So those two guys are like, people that have been hitting the Fresh Start Worlds hard, trying to get people interested in them. And Jagex has obviously tasked them to do, like maybe they said, okay, go and do some raids or whatever their contract is. They're trying to fulfill that. So I thought that was an interesting move by Jagex and kind of a much better one. I'd rather they spend their money on, good OSRS YouTubers than who's that guy, like Mango something? The Melee player who called it Runestone. Sorry guys, you could go play some Runestone for an hour for 20 grand or whatever.
Chirping it.
So I'd rather they spend their marketing money on people who actually, have passion for the game. Yeah,
for sure. Yes, but I think I've been seeing that the servers are really slowing down. They're a lot more empty than, of course, the regular ones. But the main thing that's kind of interesting was, I didn't even think about this, when Jagex said it's totally okay to swap gold. And a lot of people are playing it because if you can grind good money on Fresh Start Worlds, you could transfer it over to old school RuneScape for a lot of gold. Day one, it was like 1 to 200 or something like that.
1 to 2,000.
Maybe,
yeah.
It was a lot. So like people are grinding, like going to Stronghold of Security, getting that 10K, trading someone, giving that to somebody in Fresh Start Worlds, and then on the main servers, they were getting like 2 mil in return. So it's a little lucrative, but we see that with tons of things. I think Leagues doesn't have it, but Dead Man Mode always had it, where people would play. And I knew people who would play Dead Man Mode just to get to the finals, just to grind gold to transfer it over, because it became a really good money maker. So, anyways, if you're hearing this now, it's too late. the rates have definitely crashed a bunch. Yeah, so that's Fresh Start Worlds. Next, combat achievement tasks are getting a little bit of a buff. So 2021 was a big dry spell for updates. It was quite frustrating for a lot of higher level players because you got bored. There's nothing to do and they weren't adding anything new to the game. We got like 3 new things. Combat tasks was going to be this new way where it's not new content, but it was a way to continue doing the current content, and then unlock some, things.
Way to
So it'd be
freshen it
like,
up, right?
yeah, it'd be things like kill Hydra in full Darox with like 1 HP. So fun ways of killing them, or it could be a speed run, kill Zulrah in X amount of time. So cool stuff like that. But the problem is, like, the rewards just weren't very good on release. So people did it because there was something to do, but the rewards weren't like good. They're not like the achievement diaries. You do the achievement diaries because they're kind of good. You get some cool shit from it. Combat tasks, you just kind of like, maybe I'll get it for
the effort. Unless
Slayer
you're like
helmet.
a clue scroll hunter, they're pretty bad.
Yeah, they weren't really worth it. So they're looking to add a little bit of stuff to it. Let's get into it. Easy tier. They want to double the amount of warrior tokens you get from the Warriors Guild.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. You want to grind out some more defenders. It'll make it a little bit quicker. And then also you'll gain an additional point per successful game at pest control. So, grinding out your void will be a little bit quicker. Medium will triple the amount of warrior tokens you get, and you'll get 2 points per game, so even quicker. But if you have completing these tasks, you get this Gommel's hilt. You can wield the sword without the blade. It's kind of useless, but now if you complete the medium, you will no longer be affected by the prayer drain at Barrows. So
Ooh, pretty cool for like
that could be interesting.
some new players that have just completed that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Although medium, anyways,
I mean, it's good I think that's a good perk if you're a lower level, because higher level players won't be wearing the Gommel's hilt. Likely, I'd imagine. And you could just kind of do a Barrows run without, by the time I get to the main chest, like my prayer points are just finally running out.
Yeah.
So, but pretty cool for like lower level players, maybe Iron Men. Yeah.
Totally. The hard tier, you get 3 points per pest control, so it just keeps getting quicker. But an additional reward is Nightmare Zone and Soul Wars imbues will be 50% cheaper, which is nice. Nobody likes doing that content, especially for your imbues.
Yeah, these are good rewards. Like these are real rewards. Like half price imbues is great.
Yeah, especially because the thing is like, even if you're a higher level, like once you get your rings imbued, okay, those are done. That's fine. But there's tons of Slayer Mask recolors, and having to imbue them over and over again is a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, PKers as well. Like you probably lose Berserker rings left and right if you're a PKer.
Not me. Are you kidding me? I don't bring that risk. But yeah, I think some people do.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, yeah, a lot of people do though, right? They bring that, or they bring us imbued suffering.
Mm-hmm.
So there are imbues out there. There are people who go through them a lot more than you think. So yeah, these are good rewards, man.
Yeah, so it's pretty nice. And then the elite tier, your NPC contact spell will be 2 cycles faster. So the only thing I can think of this being useful for is Mahogany Homes. Is there anywhere else you would do this?
Material skipping. This is actually what it's really meant for.
Oh, okay.
So this is a reward that I think they should just remove from rewards and just make a thing, because it's so slow to NPC contact material skip. So they should just add this as a quality of life buff, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, fair enough. I guess it's connected to Slayer. That's why it is, because material skipping sucks.
Yeah, tutorial skipping is a way to like not spend Slayer points to skip tasks, right?
Well, yeah, you don't have any points. You basically just run a depleted bank, and you get a task from Duradel or whoever. Let's say it's Duradel, and it's not the one you want. Okay, you go you reset your task at Turiel, do a garbage task that takes like maybe a minute or two. And then you go back to Duradel, see if you get the one you want, reset your task streak. So you have completely lose your task streak. You keep any points you have, but it's the fastest way to get specific tasks. So if you're looking for things like Zuck or Jad or DKs or whatever, I did it for Armadil when I was going for my armor pieces. Yeah, it's a way to zoom through the Slayer without like having to just gain up points. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Game in the system.
Yep, game in it.
And the next superior Slayer monsters will spawn 25% faster. And superior Slayers, you can unlock it. You spend like Slayer points. So if you're not Turiel skipping, if you're not Turiel skipping, you're probably like me, and I'm super tied to my Slayer task streak. I've got like hundreds, and I will not.
Yeah, dude, there comes a point when it's worth axing it when you're at a certain point in the game, like usually when you're late game and you're looking to you're looking for specific tasks, and maybe you've only got like you're looking for a certain pet, etc. There's a time when it's worth axing your streak, when you no longer really just needs general Slayer experience.
Yeah, fair enough. But you can use your points to purchase this thing called Superior Slayer monsters. And basically when you kill these Slayer monsters, there's like originally it's 1 in 200 chance of spawning a big boy version of it. Sometimes they have new mechanics, sometimes they don't, but they look cooler. And when you kill them, they'll drop the normal drop table 3 times. And they also have a chance at dropping the Imbued Heart, which is like it boosts your magic attack level for 7 minutes, or I think it's 5 minutes. And then there's the Eternal Slayer Gem. So it's like you can make a Slayer ring that never runs out of charges. Those are the 2 big ones.
So this is a 25% buff to it. That's insane. For Irons hunting a heart, that cuts 5 or 6 million Slayer XP off the it cuts hundreds of hours off the grind. Like that's how significant it can be. So this is a good. These are really, really impressive rewards, and we haven't even got to the big tier yet.
The last one is Expeditious and Slaughter bracelets now have a 10% chance to fully charge instead of breaking. These 2 bracelets, one of them makes it so that when you kill a monster, there's a 50% chance that your Slayer task won't lose one of the kills, so you can essentially extend your Slayer task. And then the other bracelet does the opposite, where it has a chance at counting as 2 kills, so you can speed up your task. I forget these always exist, and I should use them more often, but I don't.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend people who don't use these looking into them. So like, let's say you're doing a task that you don't really want to do, but you have to do it. Like, let's say you're doing, I don't know, abhorrent specters or something like that, a garbage task. You might think wearing, say, ferocious gloves if you're meleeing would make the task faster than if you're wearing a bracelet that has no stats, but it's not true, because when you run the math, the expeditious bracelet will compound into a 33% reduction in the amount of kills you have to do, which is way faster than whatever your best in slot would give you. Same goes for like bursting, right? If you really need that Slayer XP, need that magic XP, you want to be wearing slaughters on your burst tasks so that you can extend your kill. Like, so let's say you get 100, you're actually going to get to kill about 133. So it does give you a significant boost in experience.
That's sweet. I always forget they exist, and I always forget to bring them.
I use them all the time for Turiel skipping and for like Wilderness Slayer, because Wildy Slayer, I'm just there for the points.
Fair enough.
Yeah, even people use them on boss tasks for like certain things, like maybe Kraken if you're looking for that pet or something. There's a bunch of ways to use them, and I highly recommend looking into their uses.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like the Expeditious and the Slaughter bracelets. So the Master tier rewards. We're into the big ones now. As a side note, Elite tier, it's pretty hard. I struggle with some of these tasks.
Do you have the Elites done yet?
I don't think I have any of mine completed, because it's just like I never really felt compelled to actually go do it.
Oh, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
I do them.
Some of them are tricky.
Yeah, I don't go looking for the bosses that I need to complete, but if I have a Hydra task now, so I'm gonna try to do some of them while I kill the Hydra boss. But
Nice.
yeah, I don't go out of my way.
I'm sitting on. I have elites done, and I'm about 10 tasks away from master.
Damn, pretty good. So yeah, master tier. This one's in your near future. It looks like your summon thralls from the Arceus spellbook. By the way, what I wanted to talk about earlier about Kingdom Divided, the Arceus spellbook freaking sucks. I tried to PK with it earlier.
What, you
So
tried
there's
to
some cool
PK
spells.
with it? Are you talking about non-thralls, right? Like it sucks.
Yeah, no thralls. But quick side note, they have this thing called the Ward of Arceus, and they have another one that it's like the opposite. So the Ward buffs you, gives you all these perks when you do other things to other people with the Arceus spellbook. Then you have one where you can you debuff your opponent, and then you use greater corruption on yourself. So then your attacks corrupt your opponent and they start losing prayer points. And then they have this snare attack, which makes them stop moving, and it hits like 25s. All of that sounds really cool when you combo it together. I tried using it and it fucking sucks. Oh my God, I was so disappointed because I spent like 3 days doing this quest.
It's funny, Dills. That's crazy. Like I didn't, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't even, they reworked the whole spellbook and all I use is thralls and death charge. So
Because nothing's really good.
nothing's really good. Hey, that's too bad. I think there's so much potential there.
They could. So they have these spells so you could snare them. You can do this thing where their prayer drops like a little bit faster. They drain prayer every few seconds. And they had said all these cool things. And then you're like, wow, this could be good combo together. But if everything was buffed a little bit, it would be useful. But it's not. Frustrated. I was trying to PK with it earlier today before the podcast, and a PVMer almost killed me.
Oh no.
Felt bad.
Oh, Dills.
I mean, that's nothing new, but it's just I got these cool tools I wanted to try out, and
I didn't even know you could PK with them. That's I mean, that's kind of a big brain move by you, Dills, going after the PKing corruption style.
I'm gonna try. Someone did it to me, and it really threw me off at the GE when I was trying to PK because it changes your prayer icon, and then you can't really tell if it's on or off because it looks the same whether it's on or off. It really throws you
playing
off.
some mind games.
I know. Anyways, master tier. So summon thralls will now last 50% longer. That's really cool. Summon thralls, you can summon these little ghostly dudes or zombie or skeleton dudes, and they just consistently shoot, attack whatever it is you're attacking. So there's a ranger, a major, and a melee. They all basically do the same. I mean, when you get to there's very slight differences where the melee might be good in some spots because he doesn't move when you're running away or something like that. But I always wish they did unique stuff between the three of them. I don't know. What are your thoughts when you think of the three thralls together?
Yeah, you're kind of right. I wish they all did unique things because, like Dills was saying, I think you use the melee or during one part of TOB, use the melee because he doesn't move at Verzik. And then basically, unless the thing is immune to magic damage like Callisto, you use magic everywhere. You just use the mage one. Because he starts attacking one tick faster than the other two, I think. Technically, you just use the major everywhere. So yeah, I think you're right. I wish they had a unique effect, but they're already so strong that when you get into the higher level PvP scenarios or PVM scenarios, just because they don't do a lot of damage, but they do consistent damage and you can just always have them up. And if you're grinding something for a long time, a slight buff in your DPS really just makes a big difference. So yeah, they're pretty damn good if you can remember to turn them on. That's the hard part. There's actually a plugin called Thrall Helper, and it will flash up on your screen. You can change what it looks like. You can have your whole screen flash. I just have a little box in the corner that says Summon Thrall. So if you're somewhere like Nex, where you're you want to have them up the whole time, or Theater of Blood, maybe just a little reminder.
Pretty cool overall. So now they'll last a little bit longer, which is good. Which is pretty. Cause they last a minute right now. So and they drain your prayer when you use it too. So essentially, you're going to be draining less prayer if you're out there bossing or whatever it is you're doing with them. You'll also get a new blessing that when worn gives charged items like your scythe, your trident. Any charged items will have a 5% chance to not consume charges. Is that good? That seems a little lackluster.
That's crazy. It's good, man. I mean,
I feel like it should
saves
just-
money. I mean, would take it. Just compared to the old rewards, like all these rewards are
Yeah.
good. The extending the thralls is really powerful because it lets you bring more prayer potions, or like less prayer potions, I guess.
You'll be able to combine your Avernic Defender with Gommel's Hilt, level 5, for a new swanky cosmetic upgrade. Their words, not mine. So it should look neat. And then NPC Contact becomes 4 cycles faster, so it's just getting quicker and quicker to cast NPC Contact. NPC Contact is a spell you can talk to like different NPCs remotely. It's like hopping on a Zoom call.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
that's the tutorial skipping thing. Like that should be taken out of here and just done straight up. Make it 1 tick because that thing sucks. It's so slow, Dills.
Your request may be answered in the Grandmaster tier. So when you're like the best player in all of RuneScape, Summon Thralls will last twice as long, and casting NPC Contact will be 7 cycles faster. And then you can also
Oh, no.
upgrade your Avernic Defender to make it look like the new Gommel's Hilt. Anyways, there's the new combat tasks. Do you like combat tasks? Is that something you like chase after? Or is it an active goal you're trying to complete?
Yeah, I think so. So it kind of is like gives you incentives to work on stuff when you're at a stage in the game where
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're running out of things to do. So I think what like ultimate goal would be getting a Zuck Helm on the Iron. That'd be pretty cool. It's going to require a lot of things. Like you're going to have to do a lot of more Infernos, get really good at it. You're going to have to get really good at Tob. I'm going to have to get quite a few items as well to be able to complete them with my current skill level. So yeah, I think overall they're a lot of fun. They kind of push you to get better at the game. Some of them are stupid, like they're kind of annoying to just complete. But I like that, at different levels, they will now give you reasonable rewards for maybe the content you're doing at that level of game. So, if you're early game and you're going to do the easy tier before you go and get your defender, it's going to make it way easier.
Yep, I still think there's room to make them better. I don't think they're quite there yet. Like if maybe I'm expecting them.
The actual tasks themselves, you mean?
Well, like the rewards, like they're getting better now with these little ones, but I still feel like there's room to make them a little bit better.
I think these are pretty strong, like overall, especially as like a lot of these really matter for like the high tier gamers. I think they're strong rewards. Maybe you're right, like at the lower level tiers, they could add a few niche things, but they can't make them too crazy and force people to get them.
Well, anyways, they're being added. They're making them better, and I'm sure we'll keep seeing them revisited. I think it's the good move of making like PVM stuff, like these are like kind of quality of life features, making things a little bit nicer to do. And some are straight buffs, so that's pretty cool. Anything else you want to talk about when it comes to combat achievements?
No, I don't think so. I'm glad they're making this change. It's going to be a positive one.
Pretty cool. Next up, we have the 2022 Halloween event that launched today. We've talked in the past how the events, I don't know, they never really felt too fun. They've always been like these pseudo mini quests that it's kind of like what we were mentioning earlier. Like when it comes to just like straight up dialogue, it's usually pretty weak. And a lot of these events in the past kind of felt like mini quests that were just like, I don't know, not super fun.
Yeah, I think we talked about this, right? Like you're saying, they put too much effort in them and they're terrible, or they're just kind of like weird fetch quests, or people just want to speed run through them. Like I got to the point where I didn't even bother doing them for the past few years.
Yeah. I've kind of felt the same. They kind of were just like a chore to get the.
Yeah, chore. Yeah. That's the right word. Have you done this one?
I have done this
year's?
one, and I will say it was fun. I've really enjoyed it. They've done some things right this time around. They've done some things different. They've done it how other MMOs do it, where MMOs tend to like have it's more social and there's things to work for and there's fun rewards to get, but there's a bit of a grind to it. That's kind of something you want to work towards. And I always wish that RuneScape would incorporate more, maybe something more combat related. Maybe you get like treats from killing any monsters, and then you can, with enough treats, would unlock some cool cosmetic or something. But there's been this issue of making these cosmetics hard to get. They want anyone to be able to get them. So We don't get fun stuff like that we see in other MMOs. Like World of Warcraft always had like a boss you could grind for Halloween. You can only kill it once per day, and there was a chance at dropping a mount, and the mount is like an equivalent to a pet. And if you were unlucky, you didn't get the pet that year, then you'd have to try it next year. I think that would be kind of cool to have something like that in this game, but people are going to be upset if they can't get that pet. We can't have that right now. So anyways, this event though is a step towards that in a way, not in the sense of like fighting and getting cool stuff, but there's a big cauldron in Varrock, and you talk to the kids there. They'll give you this trick-or-treating bag, and you basically just go around talking to different NPCs, and you say, trick or treat, and they will either give you treats or they will trick you, and they'll turn you into a mouse for a few seconds or turn you into a bat, or they summon a ghost to follow you around, little stuff like that. So you basically run around trick-or-treating, getting these treats, and then you deposit it into the cauldron, and they have a bunch of different tiers that you can unlock after you've dropped in the tree. Once you've collected enough treats, they unlock different tiers, which will give you different pieces to this new outfit. And so it's pretty fun. You just kind of walk around grabbing these treats. But what's also really cool is there's the community goal, where right now we're at tier 1 and we need to get 50 million treats. Like the entire community is all working towards this. At 50 million, it unlocks a new reward. I don't know what that reward is, but just the fact that you're like, oh, there's something there that we might not get if we don't all work together is kind of cool and exciting. That's the extent of the actual Halloween. But it's fun because you walk around, there's tons of people trick-or-treating, and you can trick-or-treat with people too. And there's a small chance at getting different trick-or-treat items. You can get a smelly sock that when you click it, your character will say, ew, smelly. So you can have that spammed. And I was talking to someone earlier who wants to bring it PKing so they can use it after they kill someone. But it's just like a fun reward that you can randomly get too. Yeah, so there's a few of these like items that you can get while you're trick-or-treating. And if you combine them all together, you get some amulet that will make it's like best in slot for getting treats because it prevents you from getting tricked. So
Best in slot.
it's best in slot, but people are buying these Halloween items for like 30K a pop right now. So some people are making like 500K just from running around doing this event, but it's fun. I enjoy it. I haven't enjoyed any of the other ones in the past. This one was fun though. I did it this morning and it was a good time. Yeah, nothing more to add, but we'll see what the community goal unlocks at 50 mil. And there's like 5 different tiers of it. You have 2 weeks to complete it. So I'm curious to see, like,
any guesses, Dills?
I have no idea. It might have been data mined or teased, but I've purposely not looked into it because there's so very little in this game that we can have, like, be a surprise to us. So I'm looking forward to get to that 50 mil because I have no idea what it could be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be, because you get an outfit when you complete the Halloween event. So I don't know if it could be another outfit. It could be another item. I have no idea. I don't know. Anything else you want to add before we take a break? And
No, I don't think so. Let's do it.
all right, we're taking a quick little break and we're heading on over to the Grand Exchange. This is a segment where I tell you how you can support the show if that's something you're looking to do for whatever reason. Every now and then we dribble in some financial advice from yours truly. Don't listen to it. Never, never, never listen to it because longtime listeners will recall I lost like a lot. I invested a lot of money into bird nests, and then I held on to them for 6 months. They weren't going up. They were just going down. So then I sold them. Then as soon as I sold them, a week later, they made an update to like birds' houses or something, and the bird's nest shot up real high. I can't remember exactly what the update was, but I lost a lot of money. So, yeah. Anywho, that being said, Osmond, I don't have the name in front of me. The Fang from TOA is getting nerfed, so it's going down in price. You know what that means, though? The Scythe, Inquisitor's Mace, the Dragon Hunter Lance, they're all shooting up in price. So if you were able to buy in a few weeks ago or a month ago or so when they were dropping real low, ooh, you might have made a pretty penny. You may have made a pretty penny. I bought one Dragon Lance, and then I sold it, so I made a little bit of money from that. So that's a positive. That is a pretty big positive. Now, you know what? I'll give a little pro tip. Actually, take this with a grain of salt because everything I just said previously, But we have the Wilderness Boss rework coming up. This might be a good time to buy some PKing supplies pretty low. Buy some blighted supplies. Hold on to it. You might be able to sell them when the Wilderness Boss rework happens for a little bit higher. I'm not doing that, so I'm throwing that out there for anyone who wants to try it. Please, you cannot. This disclaimer: I know nothing about any of this sort of stuff. So if you lose money, please don't come after me. All right. Oh, excuse me. We're not going to edit that one out. We usually do, but I just want to get this episode out. Let's talk about how you can support the show. Well, first things first, if you want to support the show through Patreon, which you can do a monthly donation, you can go to patreon.com/The Wilderness Podcast. We have a few different tiers there, but our top tier supporters get a special shout out every single episode. So thank you to Bronze Yawn, Yulfi, Ferric, Astrosity, P Jackals, Mallard, Spleemo, The Kazi, and Yay Fiber. Thank you guys all so much for the support. And thank you to everyone else as well. All of our Wild Boys and Gals supporters and the Gamer Boys and E-Girls supporters and the supporting fan. You guys are amazing. And I really do appreciate it a lot. So thank you guys for that. But hey, if you don't want to use Patreon, but you kind of still want to support the show, some people like to send in some support. They like to support the show through virtual coffees. It's called buymeacoffee.com. You're not really sending coffee. You send over some funds that usually do go towards coffee. So thank you to Waging Wars for keeping me caffeinated this week. You know what? The economy's hitting hard. The economy's hitting all of us hard. I've been a whole bean coffee drinker for years now. I got a nice little coffee grinder that I've had for a really long time. The Baritza Encore. So if you're ever looking for one, it's kind of expensive. It's like $200, which is like, when you're looking at coffee grinders, like if you want an actually good coffee grinder that's going to do a good job, they're like hundreds of dollars. That's insane to me. I don't know if anyone else, that's crazy to spend hundreds of dollars on a coffee grinder just to grind whole beans. Anyways, I did it a while back and it was actually, I kind of love that thing, but, we've had to move to the dreaded Folgers. Dun, dun, dun. And my coffee grinder's part is kind of acting up, so I need to get that replaced. But in the meantime, we're back on the Folgers. That's when you know times are rough. But anyways, yes, thank you, Waging War, for keeping me caffeinated, for buying me. Your donation bought me a whole giant tin of Folgers. This stuff's real cheap. It's real good. It's good for that price. It's funny. My partner, we're engaged, but when we first started dating, she would make me coffee when I'd stay over at her place, and I'd go to clean out the coffee bin where you put the coffee, and there'd be nothing there. It was like empty. It was just the filter with nothing there, and I was like, "Where the hell is your coffee?" And she's like, "What do you mean? It's in the water below." And I was like, "Yeah, but there's no coffee grounds in here." And she's like, "Oh yeah, there never is." And then it turns out she's been using instant coffee. It's pretty funny. Instant coffee is great if you go camping. Anywho, another way you can support the show is by boosting our Discord server. If you're a Discord user, they have like a monthly membership. It's like members for like RuneScape has, but for Discord. It's actually kind of nice. I recently canceled mine, and I'm missing so many of the cool features that I had. So that's the problem. If you do subscribe to the Discord Nitro, you get a lot of pretty cool features. So yeah, it's kind of rough to have to cancel that. But one of the features is you get two boosts to send to any servers. So we have a few people who send it our way. You can also pay for it manually, of course. But we have a few people who do send some Discord boosts to our server. So thank you to Toddy, Battlestaffs, Chick, Flarch King, aka Flarcheroni, Hoyt, Cosmonaut, Twisted Soul, and Vita. Thank you all so much for boosting that server, and you give the server a lot of cool perks, including a unique URL, which is discord.gg/thewilderness for anyone who wants to join. All right, I've talked way too much, so let's wrap this segment up and we'll get in because we've got some callers. One of my favorite segments, by the way. I love the call-ins. Guys, thank you to everyone who calls in as well. I love that. It's one of my favorite things. I get an email anytime somebody calls in. I always get so excited. All right, we are back and we have got some calls. Last week's question of the week, we asked, what was your favorite stage of RuneScape? Early, mid, late game? What's your favorite and why? What do you enjoy the most about it? So let's hear from our first caller.
Yo, Dills, Heartless, Iris, Jono here. I'm going to say that the early game would be the most fun when you're experiencing it for the first time. However, doing it again, it's not as much fun. But it just made me remember the first time I did Waterfall. And I was asking one of my friends, what do I do, to get further in this game? And he goes, go train range at the Fire Giants, in the Waterfall. I'm like, okay. And I remember gearing up, going in there, and I felt like an absolute machine. I'm killing Fire Giants, getting loot, and it's just, it seems like I'm getting all this money. And I remember coming out like I've just slain all of the Fire Giants. And it just felt like a huge milestone for me, but, looking back, not so much. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to having my first crack at doing some raids. So, when you got learner raids coming up, I'll be there. But, yeah, thanks for keeping up the podcast, guys. I'll speak to you soon. Catch ya.
That's awesome. The Fire Giant Slayer, RS Jono. Man, I remember some of those days being a noob and just sending. I remember killing Minotaurs in the what's it called? This stronghold.
Yeah.
I had some iron arrows and I just came back to RuneScape. I remember I was visiting my girlfriend's family and it was so hot, and the only place I could play that was somewhat reasonably cool was in the closet. So I just started playing RuneScape, and I was in my underwear, no socks on, no shirt, just in undies, trying to stay cool in the closet in the scorching heat.
It was cooler in the closet, not hotter.
Yeah, because the room was just full of sun, so it's the only way, and it's the only space I could set up a tiny little desk, because you didn't have much space at this place we were staying at. So I was just half in the closet, half out, trying to stay out of the heat, playing RuneScape. My laptop's so hot, propped up.
Oh, boy.
Just absolutely slaying Minotaurs, dude. What a memory. And I imagine Jono has tapped into something there with his Fire Giants.
I know, he's unlocking some memory. What you reminded me of is I used to stay at my grandparents for the summer, and they had a computer, but similar. It was so hot, and the computer would just the fans were all freaking kicked on full blast. It would be so hot though, and there would be so much heat putting off of it. I remember just sitting there in my like a bathing suit, probably just dripping sweat. And today not much has changed. But yeah, it was just so hot, and I would be sitting there playing it. And the Fire Giants were huge. I remember the waterfall, yeah. There's that one room in the waterfall where you can be propped behind it. I think it's a chair. And then there's also that doorway area. And you could safe spot them. And then when I remember figuring that out, and you're just I can...
Yeah, safe spawning is huge.
You can kill them forever, and nothing can stop you. And you'd have your rune halberd and just whapping them.
GP. Infinite GP.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if it's just the people that I talk to or my little bubble of people, but there's always this rumor that Fire Giants drop dragon medium helmets. They can be pretty rare, but they drop it. And I remember I would talk to someone and everybody knew someone. Oh, I have a friend who got it. Or I talked to someone who's I was there all week. I just got it on Friday. And dragon medium helmets were 1 mil, which was a lot back then. So you're wow, Fire Giants dropping dragon medium helmets. I'm just going to AFK it, and I'm going to make it. I'm going to hit I'm going to get that item at some point. At some point, it's got to drop, and then I'm going to be loaded. And then you get your rune scimitars, and you're like, holy, so much money with the rune scimitars. When I get this dragon medium helmet, it's going to be huge. I never got it. But then now, fast forward to today, we know that there's the drop table, and then a lot of monsters have this chance at rolling on this rare drop table, which has a chance at dropping your dragon medium helmet. And that's like a 1 in 30,000 chance or something crazy for that to actually happen, like per kill. It's
the original Dragon Warhammer.
Yeah. So it's like super rare. And that's why some people would get the dragon medium from Fire Giants, because it was the rare drop table that lots of monsters had, and people lost their mind. And rumors would spread, but Fire Giants they were huge. Oh, so many hours I spent killing monsters there, killing the Fire Giants.
Yeah, dude, the Fire Giants I've definitely killed many in that cave too. He also brings up like learning raids, so that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's a good time to tease that we're working on like a clan overhaul for the clan system. It's been in the works for a while. Us, like the mod team in our Discord, have been working on it. It's rather complicated to overhaul the system because it's, we've talked about it being subpar.
Yeah,
it's subpar. It's well below subpar. It's terrible. But we are reworking it, so there's going to be like incentives that you can work towards. So I'm sure we'll tease it in another episode. But for those of you that are in the clan, that is coming up in the pipeline.
Yeah, we did a little survey just to tap into the minds of clan members, just to see what people we used to do with the podcast too. It's something that we should do again, just to see it's like a pulse check. How's everyone doing? Everyone doing okay? But it's good. It helps a lot to just to get ideas of fun things you can add to the clan and all that sort of stuff. So
so the rework will be coming out soon, and along with the rework, we're going to be getting more learner raids going, getting more like game nights and stuff going on, more small events besides just the big bingo events. So I think there's a lot of exciting plans in store for the clan.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't yet joined, you should come and join the clan wild in game.
That's right.
Getting close to capacity, but we'll find space for you.
We'll make some space. I got a few alts I could kick of mine.
We're always finding space. It's not a big deal. So come on down for sure.
Raiding is fun. That's like another part. That's like,
we talked about like early bossing last week being my favorite part. Also, getting into raids with your friends and meeting new friends through raiding is an excellent experience, especially Chambers of Xeric.
A lot of bosses like stopped becoming group bosses. Like God Wars, when they were first introduced in 2007 or whatever year it came out originally, it was literally meant to be like group bossing. And same with like Dagonoths and Calphite. They're all meant to be group bossing, but that doesn't really happen so much now. It's mostly solo for the most part, or smaller groups. But raiding is like really the first time you're like in a coordinated group. It can be it can be intimidating because it's a huge. Almost everyone, it's a huge step up in what you've already experienced, but you do it with a good group of people and it's fun. It's just a good time. It's chill. And you might not perform great, but that's why you go with people that you trust and you feel comfortable with. Like I was having the worst PV. I don't know why. I was having the worst PVM day on Sunday. Every boss I did, I get KO'd. I died at Fasani's Nightmare over and over again. That's a hard boss, so that's okay. I go to Hydra. I got killed at Hydra a bunch of times. And Hydra, I was like, I haven't died at Hydra in a long time. Go to Zulrah. Get killed at Zulrah. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying here too. So then I decided to do Chambers of Xeric, which is a raid I haven't done in a long time, the very first raid. So I ran it with someone in the clan and they were very skilled. And I went there and I performed like shit. And I was like, what is going on? I'm not tired or anything. It's just like my PVM brain is just not working today. But it was okay in the end because I was raiding with friends and not some random from We Do Raids who's going to flame me and they're going to tell me that I friggin' suck. But hey, I'm 20 levels more than you are and you're using a DDS. And by the way, you don't even have... Anyways, I had a bad experience with We Do Raids once and I got flamed on voice chat.
I can hear that.
It didn't feel...
Apparently they were using a DDS. It must have been an Iron Man.
They were using a DDS and they were in normal void, which is fine. but they were like level 100, and I made a few mistakes, and we wiped a few times, not because of me, but I made a few mistakes, and I was the first to die, and they started flaming me, and it made me feel really bad. And I was like, this is such a bad, this is such a terrible experience that I've done We Do Raids, which, by the way, We Do Raids is like this area you can go and find pickup groups, group up with random people to do raids. I've done it. Every time I've done it has been a pretty good experience, except for this one time, which was really bad. And it really, that all I can remember now when I think about my experience with We Do Raids. So, anyways, if you ever raid with us, I can promise it won't be like that.
Don't bring a DDS. Whatever you do, it's going to trigger dills. Teams of Mascot is another great place to start. So there's lots of content out there to get into with teams.
It is quite good. RS Jono, thank you so much for the call in. Appreciate it. All right, our next call is from Sean Boy.
Hey, Arliss and Dills, this is Sean Boy. I've been in and out of the clan chat basically since the podcast started. I also am a former host of the Trinity Force podcast, which is Heartless's alma mater podcast, of course. And it's a short story why I left that. Basically, buddy got me into Valorant and played that for a while, and then came back to League and realized how miserable League can be at its worst, and really didn't want to put much more time into it. I haven't been playing it much since, but I've been playing RuneScape since 4th grade, and so I have a lot of memories with it. But I'd say, honestly, what stands out the most to me is COVID times, because during that time, my hours at work got cut in half, and I basically just had a ton of time to play old school RuneScape. So I spent a lot of my time just grinding skills that are kind of AFK and watching a ton of It's Will, because he was blowing up at the time, and I don't know, I just love him. There's something about Will that really gets to me. I think it's his personality. He's just a goofy guy in general, but yeah, during that time, I grinded out 99 rune crafting, hunter, mining, fishing, woodcutting. And after that, I got a little burnt out. But yeah, during that time, it just felt real cozy to me, and getting take off work felt really nice.
Oh, the Trinity Force. You guys never hosted it together, did you?
Yeah, but I know Sean Boy. We've done. I went on an episode with him while he was hosting. Didn't know he'd quit. I don't listen to the Trinity Force anymore because I don't really play League. But I went on and guest specialed as like an old host. So
cool.
I feel him though. Yeah, League sucks. So for the mental, anyway, it was a great game. Don't get me wrong, but my God, that's like We Do Raids all the time, but like jacked up to maximum.
I was gonna say, yeah, like people flame you on your own team. It can make you feel pretty bad. Which is that's not what you want to do with a video game. You don't want to be feeling
it's
bad.
like your Chambers experience, but every single night when you get home. So I can see why he left it. But yeah, I feel that, man. Like the COVID times, that was a lot of people were grinding during COVID.
I wasn't like, it was the opposite for me. I stopped playing RuneScape around that time. I took a break from the podcast. I just graduated school, so I was trying to find a job in the industry that I graduated from, and so I wasn't playing. I was just focused on career stuff and whatever. But hearing people talk about like early 2020s or like, March 2020 and playing RuneScape, it sounds like a good time. I mean, the world was shit, but Gielinor is popping off.
Dare I say the golden days?
I missed out. I didn't experience it. Sounds so weird to say, but like I was like, you know what? I wish I was playing more video games back then, and not focusing on a career.
You're good. You focus on that career at Dills. It's important. Yeah, COVID times was certainly good. I feel like a lot of people that were playing during COVID are now like pretty high level because it's 2 years later.
Yeah, that's a long time in RuneScape.
The COVID boomers, as you might say.
The COVID boomers. Awesome stuff. All right, Sean Boy, thank you so much for calling in. That's a little trip down memory lane. It gives me a good idea for a good question of the week, I suppose. But I want to hear some stories of when it comes to like, it doesn't have to be childhood, but like more like, how did you get into old school RuneScape? Or what are some stories that you recall that are more real life related I don't know how I'm going to word this. I always like record it in a speak pipe, and I only got like 30 seconds to do it. But when I first got into old school RuneScape, when I first got into RuneScape in general, I was at soccer camp. My parents were divorced, my mom and my dad. So I lived with my mom, but we never had a computer and we didn't have internet just because I don't think we could afford it. But I also wonder if the area we lived in the boonies. So I wonder if that played a part too, but never had a computer or anything. But I was at soccer camp one year, and there were these two people who were there that I was friends with, and they were talking about this game called RuneScape, and they were talking about it, and it sounded really cool. And I was like, oh, I want to try to play it. But I only ever saw them in the summers at soccer camp. So some time passed, and I went to my dad's or my grandparents who had internet, and I played RuneScape. And I remember being like, whoa, what is this? This is the coolest game I've ever played. It's online with other people, get to kill stuff. Like, this is unreal. And it's free, by the way. That was awesome. So it was a lot of fun. And it was a really cool experience. I got really into it. So then I went to soccer camp the next year. They were there again. And I was like, hey, you guys play RuneScape, right? I was so excited to talk about it. And they're both like, no. That game's so friggin' stupid. That's such a stupid game. Like, it's not even a real game. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was going to say, you guys aren't still playing it, are you? Like, I was like so excited to talk about them. But then I was like, yeah, that is a stupid game. I was going to make fun of you guys if you still played it.
God damn, that was I feel you, dude. 100%. That's just such a great question. I feel like a lot of people, I'd love to hear how they got into the game, like their first experience.
Yeah, that's what's your first experience with RuneScape? But like, what's the story of your personal story behind the character? I tried to get every friend into RuneScape after that. It's just not a whole lot of people caught on, like I did. But it's fun. Do you have memories of like when you first got into RuneScape?
I remember my friends telling me. I remember the three friends the only three friends I keep in contact with from elementary school. We were hanging out and they were like, yo, you have to come check out this game, RuneScape. It's so cool. They were like, it's on Miniclip. Look, we were in the like computer lab, maybe grade 4, maybe grade 5 at recess. And he's like, just check it out. It's so sweet. We can go back and you can meet me at this place called Port Sarim. Might make your way over there and we're going to make a little base. You know, I'm going to be the fisher. You know, he's going to be the killer. He's going to kill all the goblins for us. And you could be the chef. So we made these roles. And then later that day, I like logged on and we got off Tutorial Island and they dragged me over to Port Sarim and, started doing a little bit of skilling or whatever. Man, good memories.
That's awesome.
And then they all pretty much quit after, except me and this one guy. We ended up playing for, a long time. So... we probably played for like a few more years, the two of us, and we would just walk around. We do laps of the school in grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, just talk about RuneScape.
Oh,
maybe not grade 7. I think I may have quit by then, but I specifically grade 5 and 6, I definitely was playing hard, and we just do laps, just talking about like whatever, like what we're gonna do when we get home. It's good times.
That's awesome. I wonder if we could do like a whole episode if people would like to listen about just reminiscing on stories of past days, when we were younger and playing this game.
Yeah, dude. He had membership and I was free to play. So I would go to his house all the time and we'd just be like cruising. We'd be playing Castle Wars or like picking flax and spinning bowstrings. We shared with his brother too. We'd all grind. It was just amazing. Such good memories, dude. And I was that free to play noob.
Yeah.
But man, we even got scammed once.
Ooh,
got scammed for our rune. We kind of shared our wealth a little bit. We trade back and forth because we were really close. We got scammed for a rune full helm trimmed because that's all we could afford was the trimmed full helm.
That's a good helmet.
It's a great helmet. It's a great free to play helmet. So
that's brutal.
Man, that was rough. After that, we were devastated on the playground about being scammed. Thought about getting into scamming ourselves, but we weren't smart enough for that.
Almost went down the dark side to the dark side. That's funny. So I want to, interested to hear what stories people have to share. You can call in. There's a SpeakPipe link in the description below. Heartless mentioned earlier, we have a clan, Wild, WILD. Feel free to join it if you like. All is welcome. We do lots of fun stuff, fun events, and yeah, we got some a little bit of a revamping going on this week, so that's gonna be fun. Something to look forward to. We have a Discord, discord.gg/thewilderness. If you want to take part in whatever, if you want to jump on and chat with people or type and talk to people, that's all good. Email is thewilderness.podcast@gmail.com, and Twitter is @thewildernessrs. You don't have to call in. You can always write in as well if you don't feel like calling. You can write in to answer it as well, and we'll read it for sure. So that's about it. Heartless, anything you wanted to share?
Nope. Come join the Discord.
Jagex released another playlist of lo-fi or lo-fi, as it's supposed to be pronounced.
Oh no.
Lo-fi hip hop, which was produced by OSRS Beats and visuals by Hootie.
Hootie, such good visuals.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see the visuals, but you can listen to it. We're gonna play a song from there. Let's see, what's the first track? Let's do "Scape Sad." Let's end the episode on a sad note. And yeah, I guess we'll be back next week. Bye, everybody.
Take care.